Islam, software test engineer from Therap Services Limited. My topic is meta testing. I think you all wondering about what meta testing is. Is it another type of testing methodologies like context-driven testing or risk-based testing? Or does it another testing technique like, what could I say, integration testing or smoke testing? Actually, meta testing is none of like this. It's the beyond testing, it's the perception of testing. What the stakeholders of a software, like the developers, the testers, the CEOs or higher management thought about testing is meta testing. Meta testing gives us the information about testing in a company or in the industry. Okay, let's not waste another time and let's move to my first slide. There are several scenarios where the testing information could be misinterpreted. One of these is round trip fallacy. Let's start with an example. Let's say a tester done his testing and he couldn't find any bug that could crash the system. What does this mean? Is there any more bug? Is there any more bugs in the system, or the system is bug free? If anyone interprets this information that if anyone couldn't find any bug and the system is bug free, then he is suffering from the round trip fallacy. Is meaning that someone says a thing in one meaning and others take this in another way. Let's say another example. Well, when we didn't found any bugs in testing, does it prove that the software is correct or the software is perfect? Actually, testing does not provide any information that a software is correct or perfect. Testing gives the more information about the status of the software, about the critical issues, about many other informations. Like, if we couldn't find any system crashing bugs, there could be UI issues or usability issues that could be resolved before shipping the software. So, we shouldn't take this as a hint that a software doesn't crash and it's bug free. Let's move to another example. It's called the linearity fallacy. Okay, I start with another example. Suppose when a tester is testing a section of a software and he is performing the performance test, he found that the response time for 2 users is just the double of the response time of single user, and the response time of 10 users is just the 10 time of response time of 1 user. What does this information interpret? Does it mean that when the tester runs the test for 100 users, the response time will be simply 100? I think it's not the case, because there are so much constraints yet to be considered in this scenario. For example, the connection pool. If he is testing a web application, there is a connection constraint between the web server and database servers. If the connection pool is 50, then the test would fail for 100 users. Again, there could be concurrency issues, like the response time. If the test is run for 2 or 3 concurrent users, then the response, it could happen that the web server hangs and none of the user got their responses like this. So if anyone interprets this, the performance test result will simply propagate like arithmetic progression, then he is suffering from the linearity fallacy. My next topic is late commits. We all know about late commits. It's actually a pretty common scenario in software industries where the testers got the production code late at the time, or the developer had done the development late at the time. There could be many reasons for this. Like the module could be complex, the code logic could be very complex to develop, or the end user last time changes the requirements. But what could we do to test these sections? We could put extra effort to test these scenarios. Like we could sit up with the developers we could talk with them and we could found the critical scenarios where we could found the more bugs like the system, or we could do mapping, like we could put all the issues, like small issues in text, and we could talk to the developer at the later at the time. Okay, I think my time's up, and my acknowledgement to you could all see the slides. Thank you.
Zahid, you made it.
Yeah.
And he was so nervous when he was. You need a bottle of water right after this. Right after this. There's more sweating here to be done, my friend. Right? People are here with the questions. Very interesting topic.
Then I will take 5 bottles.
Okay. Very philosophical topic, wouldn't you say? I mean, not completely related to computer science, and that's interesting. Testing. A lot of people don't really understand testing in that sense. The fallacies that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We can go to the Q&A. Any questions? There's, let's take some from the front row.
Can you recommend any of the testing tools that you've used to, do the testing? What tools or testing that you've done, or the tools that you've used?
Yeah, actually I do not do any fixed type of automated tools. Like we intend to do whatever tools we need to use. Sometimes we use some tools that we could develop.
So you can't recommend any testing tool as well?
Yeah, basically it's context sensitive. What you want to test, the tools depend on this.
I think you want the names of the tools we use?
Yeah, I want to know what tools he used, for example, to study. So at the moment, that's what I mean.
He just wants to know the name of the tools. You want to put it in the resume, so
Okay.
Shoot some names. Shoot up some names.
Apache JMeter or something like that, or Selenium. Let's say.
Questions?
In the slides you told about the last moment the commits, right?
Yeah.
So I think you have faced this problem before.
Yeah, always.
So if you are facing this problem, how can you overcome this problem?
Well, actually we do much of things that I said, like we put extra efforts like in these scenarios. We sit with the developers to talk with them what could be the critical sections, which features could produce more bugs and which are vulnerable sections. So we talk with them, found the risky sections and test this first, and we always try to find the critical issues first, so that so the higher management could take the shipping decision or the like that.
But if you talk with the developers about the scenarios or about the test cases you are going to test, there is so much possibility that you can miss some of the major scenarios that you are doing when you are doing the exploratory testing.
Yeah, maybe.
So that can fail the whole application.
Yeah, there could be always bugs in the system, we never know. But we talk to the developers, so they develop the code and they sometimes have the better idea where the bugs could found, which could be the vulnerable areas. And sometimes we have our previous assumptions like that we tested this previously and we found similar type of bugs, so we test this first. So we could find this person.
Isn't it better, like at the last moment we don't commit anything, like we freeze our code before the production deployment or any kind of deployment, and we just left out any kind of function that is not done?
Maybe, but it's a management decision. Testing could not say that, okay, I could not test this, so don't put these comments. I think it's a management decision.
Aren't you from Vantage who follows Scrum? You're saying freeze code? Agile development freeze code? Okay, didn't get the point. Okay, and but I would have to disagree with that developers would know better. Developers
sometimes
would know certain levels where there are vulnerabilities that they have overlooked. Of course they would.
Yeah,
and
but
those probably
not
testers would not probably get. But there are a lot more. There are a lot of contribution from the testers as well.
Obviously.
It's a different mindset altogether.
Yeah, obviously. That's why we should sit with the developers.
Of course, we should
not decide the developers. Yep. Okay, tell me.
Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I just want.
Okay.
Okay. During the release period, when the commit are occurring at the last moment of your development phase,
yeah,
there are two options. Number one is that the developer who has fixed the bug, you sit with him and you get some idea from him what could be the vulnerable area. And second one is that you don't sit with him. You think by yourself to figure out the problems. As you have limited amount of time, which path actually you would prefer?
Actually, sometimes I would prefer to sit with the developers, and sometimes I decide, okay, I know method more than developer. I tested this scenario before, so.
But the problem is that who will judge this, because it's not inevitable truth that because in the release pressure there is always a certain amount of time that you need to check that this bug has been fixed, and they need a quick feedback on a certain amount of limited time. Do you think this decision is very easy for any tester to decide?
No, not actually. It's a very crucial decision, but it's a judgment call, I should say.
Judgment call.
Yeah, but what's wrong with talking to the programmers? I mean, come on. They do test their own code. Sometimes they do. I mean, a lot of the time they have to. Of course, it's a different level of testing. You have to understand that certain types, I would say this is more kind of checking. They have some assertions in their heads. A lot of the people actually even write unit tests for that. It's a different level of testing, different level of checking that addresses different level of problems that the testers probably won't. And sometimes a lot of the infrastructure decisions, like infrastructure detail, the tester doesn't know about, and they have to talk to the programmers to find more about it. But of course, I'm against that. They only talk to the programmers and they tell you what to test. Of course, there's. Actually. But you know, I feel there has to be a connection between programmers and testers. You know, interacting with each other.
Only the major problem in this arena such as is that currently in testing arena actually these type of people are very less, that whenever you are talking to a developer, you are getting, there are lots of chance of biasness. So you need a clear distinction that, okay, I am gathering information from him, but I need to make a judgment call of my own self. This is the main problem that actually I am trying to portray. You should definitely talk to a developer to get an over picture, over big view, but you should not get biased. That's the point actually I am trying.
Sometimes talking to developers could add a value. Like this, if I thought the test cases, I could miss something that the developer could point me out. I changed fix the bugs in this scenario, so there could be a problem in this. Thanks.